Welcome back everybody to another Take It Racing 2 video. In this one I'll be talking through some of the planning I've been doing. Obviously, as you know, I haven't had much time to do almost anything lately. I've been working freelance, which is fantastic, but also means that I'm having to find time, a little amount every day. That's what I've been trying to do, just to make sure that this project doesn't slip away from me. So I'll show you my spreadsheets. Obviously, this is a GB Studio game. If you don't remember, it's a strategic race management game where you buy and sell cars in order to take part in races, and the races are just section by section, choosing whether to drive fast, slow, or eco. And by managing your fuel, you'll maybe win the race if you plan ahead well enough and your car is good enough. With that in mind, I've been thinking about this game a lot as I've been, you know, doing other things, and I understand that it was better when I had a tutorial because it's such a complex game, and because of its complexity, I'm thinking of downsizing it slightly. So instead of having circuit racing, drag racing, point-to-point rally, and time trial, I'm only going to have circuit racing, drag racing, and rally, because rally is just a long circuit race and drag racing is already in the game. And all drag racing requires is a different map, and then the functionality should be the same. And it's just that the other AI players just have to have a value of how much power their car has, and then it will automatically create a basically a more difficult race for you. So I've been planning this kind of stuff in a spreadsheet. Obviously, there is a point now where I've got to where I can't really do much else. And it's kind of frustrating that I don't have much time, but once I do get time, I will definitely go back to this. But it's good to have something to, that is your passion project that you were working on the side of something, in order to not get burnt out. You kind of want to mix up your time and make sure you're not focusing entirely on one thing, otherwise you can become quite blind to it. And I think that's what happened with this game when I was working on it constantly. I wasn't thinking critically about it. Instead, I was just having fun and creating it. But now I've stepped back. I've actually had some great ideas. Each race, it was going to have a check to see if, you had you see if we zoom in here, your class, which region it is, and then engine size as well. And the engine size is kind of redundant, if you ask me, because the class basically does that kind of stuff already for us, which is like make it more fair kind of thing, a fair race for the player. So I'm going to remove engine size. That will remove information from the game and mean there aren't so many checks, which will actually save up space for other stuff. And also, I don't have to waste so much time on adding checks for every specific engine size as well. If you remember in one of my last videos on Take It Racing 2, I planned that the game might have a 30 hours, like an actual game time that you might be playing it for, which is fantastic. But if you think about it, I have to test that, right? So I am trying to simplify this stuff. And currently, I've made it so 1950. Obviously, I predicted that it would take 5 hours of gameplay to complete. But now I've actually obviously shrunk it down slightly, and I've kept it to rally, circuit, and drag racing. I think that it will be around maybe 2 hours of gameplay to complete the first 10 years, so to say, of the game. And obviously there are 40 years, or I want there to be 40 years in the game. It might be that it only comes out to 10, which would be a shame. But we'll have to see. Obviously, it's hard to predict this kind of stuff, because I'm kind of planning on this being a huge game. So we will have to definitely see. If we go back to this one, you can see, to make it easier as well in implementing, I've made it so there will be these championships, which are both rally and circuit racing, not together in the same championship, but separately. And the idea is that you know what to expect when you see South Desert, the Southern 600. You can expect to go to the South Desert. It'll be, you have to have an American car, and it will be class C or D every single time. And obviously, the races that you're against, skill will increase, and also the prize and the entry fee will increase. So there is obviously a trade-off, and once you do win, you do get the prize, like the cup, like the achievement, and that would be the reason why you would want to win, increasingly harder races. So hopefully this is a game that you can jump in and out of, and it will save your progress, and you'll be slowly working towards completing the game, so to say. So there are 22 championships so far. I'm not planning on adding any more. I did tack this one on the end because I realized there wasn't a uniquely Asian cup, so that I've added, but I haven't put that into 1950s yet. But as you can see, I've color coded them, and they're all using the same tracks, and this is to obviously simplify again. If every single cup had its own unique tracks, I would have to make the artwork for each of those tracks and then implement it and make sure it works and test it individually. Well, as you may know, it currently works as, say we reference this race, this Tomoka Beach, it will always just put us to Tomoka Beach. It will just send us to this one, and it will send us to this one. And then at the end, when we get pushed out, it will then send us to the correct scene to give us the prize, right? So it means I don't have to have a duplicate of this row here for every single time I have Tomoka Beach, but I do have to have a separate one each time I add a new track. But as you can see, there are a lot of tracks. We go here. This is all the tracks, right? So there are 22 tracks. Obviously, some of them are rallies, as you can see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them are rally circuits or rally tracks from their point to point. So every single section is different than the last. While in the circuit, you're looping round and round. As you can see, I've predicted how long it will take to, complete a lap or the whole thing by the sections, and imagining how long it takes to complete a section is 3 seconds. So obviously, if I increase this to 10 seconds, then the whole game time, it completely advances, right? If I go back to game time management, see, it's now 5 hours. So this is it's a very variable game, because if you play it fast, if you're trying to skip through, then it will take less time. Which is okay, because some people won't want to hang around, and other people will want to take their time and try and perfect it. And that's kind of what I think makes the game okay and quite fun. And obviously, if we go back to the race timeline, you can see I've made it from 1950 to 1959 here. I've color-coded each year so that I can more easily see. And you see there's 2 races each year. These are just the rally and circuit races. And we start, and as you can see, the entry fee slowly increases. So it's encouraging you to, keep moving forward, and the prizes also increase, but they're not so constant, but they're definitely getting bigger on average over time. And then hopefully, obviously, if you come second or something, you'll be encouraged to try again. And when you do come first, you get the bonus. So there's a first time you finish, there's an extra bonus. And this is to encourage you to try a new race rather than to just repeat the same race over and over again. It might not be enough, and I might have to change these numbers, but it's an estimate that I've kind of just slapped together, and hopefully it works, and I will have to test it. You can see as well, I've made the drag tracks, and it's just the some of the places from the circuit and rally, and then obviously it'll be the straight line like it is in the game currently. And there won't be much difference between these tracks except for the artwork. Like the length won't change. I could do that, but I'm foreseeing that I won't be able to. And as you can see here, here's the drag race timeline. So we have 1 every year, except for the start where we start with 2, just to give us some more content at the very beginning. And as you can see, the prize increases, and then, or the entry fee, sorry, increases, and then the prizes increase too. And hopefully, as you can see, when you spend 20 grand and you come at first, then you gain 25. So you actually only gain 5 grand. And before it was just like you double your money, and I felt like that was like a very easy way to basically game the system by just like, if you lose one, then it doesn't really matter because you won it last time. But if you actually lose in this one, you actually lose 20 grand. So it's kind of more of a balance thing. So it will be like planning for the track, and I will try and provide enough information for the player to make sure that they feel confident in their car before they enter the race, in order to not be annoyed when they lose to in something like this. But hopefully, once we get into the big things, this will become really powerful. Like when you're paying like 100 grand, 200 grand, 500 grand to enter a race, and you're against some really tough opponents, it will feel amazing when you get that first place and you get that huge payoff. So yeah, I hope that that does feel like that. But obviously, we'll have to get to it as we go down the timeline. So yeah, I've basically planned out the 1950s in this game. I will have to create the tracks that you see here, or mainly the ones you see here, in order to successfully, like test it, right? Obviously, it's hard to test it when you don't have the stats and everything. And yeah, so I'm just telling you that I've been working on it, tiny bit every day, like just thinking about this kind of stuff and just typing in, rally track names. And for example, I added Circuit Zandvoort from the Netherlands. And this was one of the original commenters on my first videos. Really wanted a track named after them, and I will name it after them. Obviously, currently I've just named this stuff the actual name of the track so that I don't forget what it's actually referring to. As most of this stuff, like Zuma Circuit, is just Monza, and the Indy Speedway, obviously, is just Indianapolis Speedway right now, and Watkins Glen. All of these are referencing something very specific, and I will need to change their name. And yeah, I will have to think of some of those names. And I would love to name them after commenters and my patrons and people like that that are interested in this. I don't want to just come up with some random name that doesn't mean anything to anyone. But yeah, I have been working on this tiny bit every day, and you should too. If you're busy working your day job or something, and you have your game that you have at home that you use to relax or just for to express your creativity, it's always a good idea to just a tiny bit every day, even if it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Just think about your game. Look at what you've done. Don't go away for it for too long in order to completely lose the track of what you were originally intending to do with the project. So yeah, I'll leave it there for now, guys. If you haven't played this already, I wouldn't mind it if you gave it a spin. Obviously, it's a demo version, and this is like a very early version. So it doesn't have almost any content. It's all from the 1950, and there's only a certain amount of cars, and you can't really use most of them because the prizes aren't like set up correctly. In order to get enough money to like afford some of them, you'd have to just grind this game, and I don't want you to have to grind it. I want you to feel rewarded and like feel progression as you move. So yeah, I hope you found this video interesting. I hope you're excited the fact that I'm still working on this game. I don't know how long it's been now. It's been a long time. Maybe almost close to a year is when I started designing it. I started sketching ideas in my sketchbook. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll put my patrons up on screen right now. Thank you so much to you guys. I'm very sorry I haven't made much content for you guys, but I hope you understand. Remember to like the video if you like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, comment on what you want to see next and what you think about Ticket Racing 2 and my plans for it, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.